Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll try to explain how I got very good score in PTE with minimal preparation. In fact, I didn't prepare for months or weeks or days. I just prepared for a night before the exam because of my tight schedule and all. In this video, I'll try to explain my experience, how I was able to crack the PTE. Of course, I didn't clear with the flying colors like 90 by 90, but I did clear with 73 overall score and 75 and 75 for both listening and speaking, and 71 and 71 for writing and reading. So without any delay, let's get into the video. I'll just try to explain my strategies to clear the exam. The first section in the PTE is read aloud. So I think I didn't follow any strategy, and what I remember is we have to speak with the normal flow, like how I speak normally when I read a sentence. I quickly show you how I read this slide. Read aloud. Practice reading a variety of texts aloud daily to improve fluency and pronunciation. Focus on clear articulation and avoid rushing through the text. Use intonation to convey the meaning of the text effectively. So this is how I read normally. This is what I have done in the exam. So I know the exam is very overwhelming and pressure for a lot of people, and I was also very nervous when giving the exam. So guys, I'm just telling you, it's a very easy section, and you have a lot of opportunity to score a lot marks in this without any negative marking and all, without losing any marks. First and foremost rule, don't fumble. At least try not to fumble. And second is speak with your flow, and don't rush. As stated in the slide, don't rush, just practice a lot. And there are so many apps available on. And what I do is normally I'll read my screens, and also being an electrical engineer, I used to read a lot of standards and a lot of guidelines in the day of my work. So I think it did help me a lot to for this section. I think I'm not sure, but yeah, we do read a lot of standards and guidelines in the day job. So if you don't have such scenarios, just read newspaper daily, practice it, and go with the flow. Don't try to copy anyone. Don't try to copy the fake accents. Speak with your natural accent and speak with your natural speed, and at any point of time, don't rush. Please don't rush. And I think uh, you are able to clear with full marks in this section if you sit comfortably and take a big deep breath, like, and then start speaking. And as I told, I did felt nervous for one or two sentences. After that, I was very peaceful and I was very calm. I was speaking as if I am speaking with you guys now. It's just not natural flow of mine. So I didn't try to be very fake accent kind of thing, and I was like, I was speaking about my face. That's it. So move on to the next slide. Yeah, this section where a lot of people feel it very hard, because normally we don't remember a lot of things when we hear. So my strategy was, I have gone through how these marks was given. Like, uh, you have to be very fluent. Content, I didn't give a care. Like, content, like, I know I can speak for up to 50% what the speaker has said to me over the microphone. So my strategy was that, I would remember five, maximum five words, then I'll repeat very clearly. Like, for example, if they say, like, if the speaker says listen carefully and try to understand the meaning of the sentence, so I would say, like, listen carefully, understand sentence. That's it. I would avoid so many words in the sentence, but I'll try to make sure that, at least I listen 50%. And second strategy was like, instead of remembering the word to word, I was trying to remember the meaning of the sentence, so that at least I could speak 50%, up to 50% of the sentence. I know it's very hard, it's not that easy as I said, but with the minimum practice and you are able to speak 50% with fluency. Fluency is the key throughout the exam, and we have to be very cautious about the fluency. And if you mumble like listen carefully, like understand meaning of the sentence, you will get 0 marks. So absolutely you will get 0 marks. Open your mouth and speak as if I am speaking with you guys now. Open your mouth fully and speak, like listen carefully, understand sentence. If that much you speak, that is fine. With that strategy, trust me guys, you will get more marks. And if you think content is the king, then forget about it. Content is not king in PTE, fluency is the king. If you speak fluently, you will get good marks in the repeat sentence. If you want, you can practice a lot repeat sentence, but I personally say if you practice thousands of sentences, there is no use, because you can't remember. As a human being, you're not a robot, you can't remember 100% of the sentence. So there are chances that you will lose the words. So don't focus on the content, just focus on the fluency and just listen in your relaxed manner. You will try to understand, and yeah, you can try to speak at least 50%, you will get good marks. So what I did is I did practice a bit a night before the exam, but not, as I said, I didn't practice for thousand or so many sentences. I did practice for I think around 50 to 60 sentence listening, and I was trying to repeat. But my accuracy was around 60 to 70%, but I didn't care for accuracy, but I cared for my fluency. I think that's what fetched the marks for me. Describe image. I had actually a template for this. It's like I'll try to paste the template in the description, but unfortunately I was unable to remember the template, because the template I have seen is like the very night before the exam, so I couldn't able to recall the template. My description was like this. I can see describing so and so and so and so. However, the difference between this and this was so huge that it was undebatable argument, and in the end it is evident that the values for this so and so was increasing for few many years. And in the conclusion I can say that this is very useful information for those who are working on the so and so field. This is how I try to describe the image. I think it did work. That's what I feeling, it did work, I think. If you want template, I'll leave in the description what I was preparing template, but I didn't use the template in the exam. Retail lecture. PTE has changed a bit in the retail lecture section. I have got question like how can I say, there are three people discussing something, we need to retell the lecture. That's what I have got. I don't know, maybe PTE has changed the strategy. I listened carefully, and what I did is I was writing when I don't listen. I listen, then I don't write. For 10 seconds, I listen, and for next 10 seconds, I write. For next 10 seconds, like this. It's a cycle. So at the end of their conversation, I already have 7 to 8 key sentences, not the words. It just don't write the words, you will forget what the word and what the context. In the exam pressure you will forget that. So what did I do is like I was writing down the whole sentences or whole phrase. Like if two people are talking about the tea, so I was writing like tea is very good, and tea has some magnificent flavor, and tea has some strong flavor. So I was writing these phrases so that I can remember what they are talking about, and I can phrase my sentences when I was about to speak. That's what my strategy for this retail lecture section. It did work for myself. So friends, this is my strategy for retail lecture. I think if you follow that one, that would be great. Again, content is not a matter here, but you need to understand the context what they're talking, and uh, and don't write while you listening. You will mess up this section. Just listen, stop it, write, then listen, stop it, write. So stop it means stop listening. So when you're writing, you will hear that one, but don't listen. It's just a noise in your ears. Just don't listen. Just write your phrase, then start listening. Then write your phrase, start listening. Don't try to write the long phrases. I did encounter two questions where there are long phrases. I did avoided those long phrases, so you just can't write whole sentence, and you can't remember and you can't retell the whole scenario. So I did avoid, but at the end of the conversation, I already have around 6 to 8 phrases. So with that, I can form a sentence and I can retell that lecture. I already have so many phrases. It's not that hard to build any story with the phrases. If you know the context and you have the phrases, then I think it's not that hard. So this was my strategy. This may not work for a few people, but this was my strategy. And yeah, and the next one is answer short questions. So yeah, I do agree that a bit of common sense and bit of general knowledge for this. But if you don't know, don't be silent in the exam. Just say I don't know. If they ask who is ophthalmologist, you just say don't know. Or if you think it is familiar, you can say a doctor. You don't need to say like an eye doctor or eye specialist or kind of thing, but you can say a doctor. I did answer all of the questions. All means all of the questions. So my questions were very easy, like kind of balloon, kids, and lock, and bicycle. These type of questions I got, so it was very easy for me. It may not be the case for most of the students, but yeah, just try to answer as much as you can. But fluency is the king, as I said. Just speak fluently and try to answer very fluently. Like if it is a word like bicycle, don't mumble like blah, 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 don't do like that. Just say bicycle and just say I don't know. Just say doctor. Just say a balloon. Just say a knife. For example, what is used to cut vegetables? You can say a knife or knife. You don't need to say a knife is used to cut the vegetables. So it's not necessary. Just simple. A word should be sufficient, or two, most of the cases. I think I didn't follow any strategy because of my work experience and all. I did gain some general knowledge. So, but that too, I was very lucky. I got a very easy question, so I was able to clear it. So the next section is summarize written text. So this is where people feel it's very difficult. My strategy was like, of course, I did read the whole context, but I did copy it. I'm not gonna lie. I did copied the first sentence of the second para and first sentence of the third para, and I did add with I think although, but you have to see the context. If it matches the context, then you can use the connecting words like but although. That's up to you, but this is what my strategy. I didn't type anything because typing will cause you the errors because of the typing mistakes. Just see the text and type exactly, and you will have a lot of time for this. So just see your text what you have typed and refer with the existing context on the screen and check for spellings. Normally what happens is you are very familiarized with the auto correction of the phone and auto correction of the word document when we, but in the exam it's not like that. You have to be very cautious about your typographical errors. So just make sure that you don't commit any typing errors in the exam, so that will cost you marks. You have to use the full stop. You should not use the full stop in between the sentences. You can use the commas but not the full stop. Remember it, if you put the full stop and use the two sentences, your marks are gone. So we are moving to the next question. Write an essay. So a lot of people think that writing marks will consider from the writing essay, but it's not the true, friends. It's not true. So of course I can say this is important, but it does not contribute a lot of marks to your writing section, in opposite to the IELTS. Yes, I agree. In the IELTS, your essay scores a lot for the writing, but not here in the PTE. What my strategy was like, I have used the first para to introduce the topic. I have got the essay like, what do you think the best invention in the past 100 years, like computers, aeroplanes, and kind of thing. I did choose the computers, and I did start with the computers without which we can't imagine our day-to-day life now. And in the second para, I did mention its advantages and the with an example, like computers are very flexible. Like for example, I'm sitting in Melbourne and I'm writing PTE, and I can get marks within the I can get I can get the marks within a days. So this is a flexibility of computer. And in the second sentence, I have used the artificial intelligence with the help of computers, how it can change the world. Like it can detect the dental diseases in advance, and it can forecast the weather, and it can forecast the tsunamis and all. That's what I have used the examples. And in the fourth paragraph, I have concluded that we cannot say that this is the best, but I do feel that this is the best, and I have stated my examples in the above sections. And at the conclusion, I could say that computers are the best inventions in the last 100 years. That's what I did. And after that, I have counted my words, and I think it was good. It was 220 or some kind of thing. So yeah. So for the strategy and template, yes, I do have a template for this, but uh, it's kind of 50-50. Will give you the template in the description, and I'll try to paste here also. It will have like some introduction, and in the second paragraph example, and the third paragraph is second example, and fourth paragraph is conclusion. That's it. If you write that also, that's fine. You will get marks, because it checks your coherence. Coherence means how you develop the story, how you develop the essay. That's what it checks. Introduction, example 1, example 2, and supporting statement 1, supporting statement 2. In the first paragraph, you will have the supporting statement 1. In the second paragraph, you will have the supporting statement 2. And in the third paragraph, you will have supporting statement 2. And the fourth paragraph, you will have the conclusion. That is how you develop an essay, and that is how you end the essay. So for that, they will give marks, not for the content. Of course, the grammar is more important. As I said, I did follow the template. I did analyze the template. It's like, developing your idea and concluding your idea. That's what I did. Yes, I did follow the structure. You can say the structure. Yes, I did follow the structure of the template. Yeah, you can follow the template, and you just put the keywords there, and I think you'll get 80% marks. If you leave the content also, that's fine. I didn't have any strategy for this. If you want 90 of 9, if you want 90 out of 90, you should have some strategies and prepare a lot. If you want score like 70, 75, I think you can skip. I did skip it. To be frank, I didn't attempt this question, and I didn't have time, and I didn't prepare for this also. So why would I waste some time, and I'll sit on this question? So I skipped this question. If you want a score like 70, 75, you can skip. Trust me, you can skip this one, still you get 75. For this also, I didn't prepare, and I didn't have any strategy for this, but I did answer because of natural coherence. And as I told, my profession needs a lot of reading and writing, and concluding from the standards and guidelines. So I think it helped me a lot. So I didn't follow any strategy for this. As you can see on the screen, look for logical connection between sentences to determine the correct order. So I'll try to explain a bit. Normally, the first sentence is like a full name or a subject. Normally in the second normally in the second sentence, it's like half name or just surname, and they refer it as they, it, he. So you can form the logical connections with that. Normally it does happens, and In the first sentence, if they say few places, and the second sentence they may say like places like Melbourne, Victoria, Perth, Western Australia, kind of thing. So you can form it like that's the meaning of the logical connection. You can try to form logical connection, but if you want a very minimum marks like kind of 65, you can skip this section. But this is the idea. And try to identify the introductory and concluding statements to frame the paragraph. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Uh, Try to identify it, and with this tips you can identify which is first sentence and which is second sentence. Normally the first sentence starts with a affirmative statement. So yeah, that's what in the second sentence it's like there will be connection for to the first sentence. Usually you can form, if you read carefully, you can form the connection between one and two. Normally, as I said, in the first sentence if they say full name, the second sentence is a half name, and if they say the subject will become object in the second sentence, and the first sentence object will be subject in sentence. So it's like that. And see, try to read different paragraphs, small short paragraphs, and try to read it, and you will form a coherence within very short span. You will form a coherence that will help you a lot to achieve good marks in the reorder paragraph. And next section is reading fill in the blanks. This will have lot of tips, and this is where your grammar kicks in actually. They don't say rivers and lake, they will say rivers and lakes. So this is one of the tips. There will be so many. For this I have followed Nakul. He is a very good PT teacher, and he is an expert. So I did follow his channel. So with his ideas I was able to clear this, and there are some tips and tricks he did mention his in videos. So I followed his videos for this, and especially for this section, your grammar helps a lot. If you have very good grammar, you don't need to practice anything. You can have this very easily. But if you are very weak like me in the grammar, yes, of course, you need to follow some of the videos and follow some of the tricks as I said earlier. It's a listening summarized spoken text. So that's what I have written here. Takes notes on the key points while listening to the audio, but not while listening to the audio. Just skip the listening part and just write it down, and then you listen, then write it down. So it's the same, like you have to develop a small coherence here. Grammar plays a vital role here. Make sure your grammar is so perfect, otherwise you just practice it, and you should not make any grammatical mistake in this section. Your marks will be reduced, and you should not commit any typography. So you have to double check your words what you have typed. Make sure that make sure that you didn't commit any mistakes here. Frankly speaking, guys, I did skip it. I didn't prepare for it, and I thought it takes a lot of time, so I just listened it and click option A and click next. That's what I did. If you want more tips on it, just follow Nakul. I'll leave his channel in the description. So for this, I did, luckily I did get a very easy, you know, audio clip. So my answers, I know my answers what were correct, and it was, there were two options which can be eliminated very easily. I was lucky, but if I get a very hard question, I would have leave it. Listening fill in the blanks. So here what I did is I just typed while I was listening, and click the tab button with this finger. Make sure that otherwise if you can't press the tab with this little finger, just grab your mouse and click the next blank immediately when you enter the first word. Otherwise you can write it, but if you write it you can't understand your write. You can write on the erasable pad, and they will be given to you, so don't worry about that. You just write it, and try to listen carefully while studying. try to listen carefully while you're reading. The problem with this is, normally, light wave reach fast than the sound waves, but in this case sound waves reaches you than the light wave. It is like, you will be manipulated with the voice, like you will listen it differently while listening and at the same time. It's a very tricky, but if you listen very carefully, you can listen the word exactly and make sure that you don't commit any typographical errors. Even though the word is correct, if you mistyped it, your marks will be gone. Like if you are very bad at spellings, practice a lot. If you are very good at spellings, that's fine. So make sure that there are many words which are there are many words which are very confusing in terms of the spelling, so make sure that you practice a lot with the spellings. So highlight the correct summary. I think it's very easy. Like if you listen carefully, you can highlight the. If you can't, just skip it. Don't type, don't click anything, just skip it if you can't. And don't try to waste most of the time here, because what happens in the exams is our ego kicks in, like why can't I answer this one. That is what most people end up in getting the very less marks, even though they are capable of getting very higher marks. So they do waste a lot of time at the sections which gives very less marks. So if you don't know it, just skip it for the this single type of questions. If there are many questions like fill in the blanks, there are 5 and 6, yes, it does carry a lot of marks, like 10 for the listening and 10 for the writing. If it is like this question, just skip it. If you don't know immediately, it just carries 2 marks max, that's it. Select missing word. Yes, it's a bit tricky. Sometimes the words are very in ear, so if you click this one and misses the listening, you will miss the second word. But listen carefully, and sometimes the words are very confusing, like ascend, descend. So with some accents, it sounds like similar, especially for Indians. Like we don't often listen those accents in our day-to-day life, so it is very confusing. Like it's not confusing, it's deceptive, I can say. It's deceptive, like as I said, it's a descend, ascend. You really can't expect, like what is what is the word. It's like, is it descend or ascend? That, because I'll tell you why it's deceptive. Because you're reading and you're listening. You're reading and you're listening. You think you heard the right one. You think you heard the right one because the you know the context is correct on the screen. You will read it correctly, but you listen incorrect word here. So in moments you will lose this word. You think that the word is correct because you're reading. If you are not reading, you just only listening, you may identify the wrong one. But they'll say something, but here it's a different one, so you have to identify it. They'll say it differently in the audio. So the context in the screen, the context on the screen is correct. So it's a bit tricky, but the only thing you can do is pay attention, and yeah, that's what I can suggest. Pay more attention, just listen. I think I did get 2 or 3 questions. I answered all of them correctly. If I think maybe I missed 1 or 2 words, but all of them correctly. Just try to pay more attention, but don't click on anything if you didn't hear it. Like you don't guess it. This may be uh, spelled wrongly in the audio clip. Don't assume that because the word is different doesn't mean that they'll spell it differently. So make sure that you pay more attention. That's what my strategy is. So let's see what I have written here. Listen to the context and predict the missing word based on the audio. Pay attention to the tone and content of the speech to make an educated guess. Practice with different types of listening exercise to become familiar with the task. So this is what I have told. This is what I have told you already. Let's move on to the next session. So this is where you will feel like we have to write exactly, but there is a way you can trick that computer. I mean the computer which evaluates your exam. So what you can do is you can write listen carefully, and here you will get doubt. Carefully spelling is like Carefully or Carefully. So write down both. There is nothing wrong. I repeat, you write down both. There is nothing wrong. You will get full marks, trust me. And then you will think that is there an end or R? Write both, no problem. Right spelling Rwrite or Rite. If you get that doubt, write both, that's fine. Write down is combined, or do we write separately? Maybe separately, maybe combined. Write both. And what you hear, okay? What means WHAT watt or WATT watt? Write both, that's fine. You hear, hear or ear? HEAR here or EAR ear? Write both, that's fine. You will get full marks. So this is what I have followed. Like I did, of course I got the very simplest sentence, but I did get the complex sentence also. What I've done is I try to I tried to write full sentence, and I have added like this and or if. And if my spelling, if I think my spelling is wrong, then I did add the couple of spellings like which may be correct. So this is what I have followed. Hope it covers most of the sections. If you think it did help you, please click that like button. And yeah, as I said, I just need around 54 or some kind of thing for my visa. So but I got 73. No preparation at all. I just need to tell you guys, I was working in a corporate for such a long time. So the meetings and the speaking, writing, listening, all these are like part of my job, day to day job. As I said, I'm an engineer, electrical design engineer. I have to get a lot of information from the books. I have to get a lot of information from the online articles. So it naturally develops my coherence. Maybe that added, you know, points to me. But as I said, with right strategy and right techniques and tips, you can clear the PTE exam with a lot better score than you think. I'm not saying you don't need any English language skills to get good score in the PTE. Of course, you do require a lot of skills, but again, with the minimal efforts, you will get a lot of score. It's not the case with the IELTS. For the IELTS, it's a conventional exam. Of course, you do need a serious language skills and a serious efforts. But PT is kind of, if you can convince the computer that you know the English, you'll get marks. That's the beauty. So let's try to find out more videos about how to convince the system and get good marks. But at the end note, I'm saying English is very essential if you plan to live in a country where the main language is English and your second language is English. If your first language is not English, then of course you do face a lot of problems, and learn it makes your life very easier in the other country. That's what I request you guys, and thank you so much for watching. I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you so much. Until then, take care. Bye bye. See you. Jai Hind.